There are many, many bright, insightful people, highly engaged in the betterment of public schools in our community, and in a general sense, highly engaged in relevant social issues. I would also like to thank the Board of Education for being present, for being accountable, and for staying true to the letter and spirit of the Open Meetings Act, even when it appears to the public there are some rough edges when we conduct business in this setting. The edges are rough simply because the board needs time in public meetings to refine their work, and Trustee Brookover referenced that earlier in the meeting. Although the issues are debated within our board, and we do experience both agreement and disagreement, I admire the time, the energy, and the deep thought each trustee has brought to this process and all other issues, and I thank you very sincerely for that to the board for your very sincere and earnest work. No matter the outcome tonight, I am hopeful. This is my community, very committed to this community and the school district. I am hopeful, even optimistic, that we can move forward as one on behalf of all students at the conclusion of our current discourse, and I thank you for allowing me to read that into the record. And with that, that's my superintendent's report, and I would field questions but suggest we move quickly to the next item on the agenda.
Okay. Do we have a district parent council report? They haven't met yet. Okay.
Actually, they meet tomorrow night for the first time in the board office.
At the board office, in the evening?
In the evening.
Do you know what time it starts? 7, I think? 7, Darryl? Okay. Okay, we're going to begin with public comment, and I do have a number of slips next to me. If you didn't notice them on the way in and would like to speak, you can go out to the table by the doors and fill out a pink slip and get it over to us, and we would be pleased to welcome you to the podium. We are going to have my dreaded timer on here, and it will go off at 3 minutes. I have said before that I really do appreciate the fact that people have been very gracious in stepping away once they hear that. It's not easy to ask you to move aside, but I know we all want to give everyone the opportunity to speak. So what I'm going to do is continually have 3 people whose names are read, the thinking being that 1 will come to the podium and 2 know that they need to queue up and get ready to come forward. That's why there are 3 names. So we'll start with Deanne Lawrence. Then there is, pardon me if I make a mistake, and help me when you say your name to correct it. Quenda Story and Beth Prince will follow. So when you come forward, if you could please state your, I'm just getting my alarm ready here. If you could just state your name and your address.
Hi, good evening. I'm Deanne Lawrence. Just to confirm, I've got 3 minutes or 5 minutes?
3 minutes.
3, okay. My husband Mike and I live at 318 Marshall Street in East Lansing. We've had kids in the East Lansing School District for 15 years now. 2 of our oldest kids, Will and David, who now graduated, and our youngest son, John, is a freshman at the high school. We've lived through many different school configurations, and while there's pros and cons to all, we have been very pleased with the education our kids have received in East Lansing. Our 2 sons are thriving in college and have been well prepared for the academic and social challenges. I'm here on a difficult evening to express my support for the board's action taken on September 9th proposing a K5-6-8 configuration. My husband Mike would also be here to express his support, but he's out of town this week, so we ask that I speak for him as well. We support the current proposal for the following reasons, and I apologize for reading my statement, but it's rather nerve-wracking being up here tonight. First, our youngest son went through the K4, 5, 6, 7, 8 configuration, and Mike and I have felt this is too many transitions. We saw that it was difficult to create active parent involvement at the 5-6 building, and it was a challenge to keep track of kids in so many different schools. Second, we also believe that while there are community and developmental advantages to keeping kids in the elementary school for as long as possible. There are also educational benefits from consolidating children. We think the board's proposal to keep the 5th graders in elementary school and consolidate the 6th graders at the middle school strikes a balance between these two concerns. The 5th graders could have the social and emotional advantages of being in smaller neighborhood schools, for example, and the 6th graders would have access to science labs, this auditorium, and the possibility of enhanced music education. We've been very pleased with the music education our kids have received, and the program continues to improve. Being at the middle school would allow the 6th graders to have music education 5 days a week. Next, the proposal would ensure that our kids have adequate facilities for the next 30 years. Based on current property values, this is the window of opportunity for financing. And though difficult, the proposal also addresses the current fiscal realities and the shrinking resident student population in our district. Though a sensitive topic, the fact that many of the resident students who attend Red Cedar are the children of international students does not mean this is a racial justice issue. There's diversity throughout our district, and it's one of the great strengths of our district. The proposal will provide all of our kids with an excellent education. Finally, I want to end by expressing my gratitude to the board for their volunteer involvement in this extremely difficult process. At times, the comments have gotten rather heated, and I know these are emotional issues for everyone. But while no process is certainly perfect, I think the process has been undertaken in good faith and with the best interests of all the kids of our district. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Story, Beth Prince,
It's
and
Quenda Story.
Quenda
Yes.
Story.
Yes.
Miss Prince, and then James Barger. Thank you for correcting.
I'm here because my kids asked me to come. They live in East Lansing, and they had a prior commitment at a volunteer session for training foster parents. They moved to East Lansing because of the school system. They actually do not work in East Lansing, but they live here now. They chose East Lansing, and they want to enroll their children when they get old enough. I have pictures of my grandchildren. When they get old enough to be enrolled in elementary, they wanted to choose the Red Cedar Elementary because they wanted those diversity and those language opportunities for the kids. We live in the 21st century, and it is a global world in this century. I helped them buy this house because I felt that this was a community that would protect the value of its school system in a way that perhaps some other communities might not. It is a population that understands how important education is. It understands how important early education is. If you are finding yourself in a situation where you simply do not have enough money to avoid the problem of diluting your class size, making it larger, and closing an elementary school, then you need to take that issue to your voters. If they refuse to give you that money, well, that's what they do. But I personally do not believe that I am wrong. I think this community will support you in what you need to do to maintain the value of your school system. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Beth Prince, and I wanted to first and foremost thank the board for everything they've done. It has been such a difficult time for you. You've had difficult decisions to make, and you will have decisions to make tonight. I'm third generation East Lansing School District, so I support the district 100%. My kids, my mother, and went to East Lansing. I think there's no question East Lansing is a wonderful district. That's why we're all here. I support your decision from, September, the earlier meeting. I know it's not an easy decision for people, but I think it's probably the best that we have for the district. It's going to be difficult, but I think that it has a lot going for it, and I think that there's a lot of diversity. That was brought up at the other meeting. There's a lot of diversity in the district. And I think that you will all make the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Just let me get caught up just a bit here, please.